Morning guys, so today's flight is from Sameons in France, and really this is the day after I flew Chamonix Valley. And if you've seen the Chamonix Valley video, it's where we got smashed for about 25-35 minutes of collapses, and it was just unbelievably aggressive. I think I said it on the video, it's probably the worst flying conditions I've ever flown in. So today I was quite tentative of not wanting to have to go through that experience again. And the one thing, having spoke to some of the more experienced pilots, was that we needed to fly above these inversion layers and get out of this rough air. So today for me was all about just trying to get as high as I possibly could, sticking with the thermals, and really it sounds daft after years of flying, just building a little bit of confidence back up of flying in the Alps, because yesterday definitely took a dent of confidence from me. So I get in this thermal just above takeoff, and I'm trying to get right onto the back of that ridge where there is another cable car system. And this thermal, it's not the best thermal initially, again sort of 0.7s to 1.2s, but I just follow this ridge up and it builds and builds and builds really nicely. And once I get above the cable car, I then start thinking about pushing across the valleys. I'm already behind the two people who I'm trying to fly with, which is Pete Gallagher and Ian Pepper, but I can see them on the next ridge, so I just want to get across to them and, like I say, really have them babysit me slightly. They're a lot more experienced pilots than I am, and like I said before, for me this flight is about just building confidence back up of flying in the Alps in big mountains, big conditions and big air. So as you can see, I'm just slowly working this thermal as we mentioned, and I get to just over 2,000 meters, so about 2,060 meters, and that's when I start thinking about departing and pushing across the valley. This is the 5th day of flying, and the conditions, with it being so dry, very similar to UK conditions at the moment, quite boisterous, quite aggressive thermals, but you know, it wasn't difficult to go up, that's for sure.
It's been a few years since I looked in the mirror and felt fine. I hate that when I'm near you, I pretend to laugh and fake a smile.
So as we discussed, I've got the height I want to get now, so all I do now is start pushing across, sort of skimming the back of the range and making my way around onto the next slopes, which you can see behind me now. So I've got to go over that nice big re-entrant. You can see that re-entrant now to my right, or in the centre of the picture. again, and what I find is as soon as I connect onto this ridge that's in front of me, you can just see that on the left side, I get a boomer of about a 4.5 metre second back up to 2200 metres. And to be fair, the next transition after that is pretty easy because I've got so much height. And the ozone light proved itself massively in the Alps. One, for just putting up with some really aggressive conditions, but two, on glide. You know, I think it's as good as any D-wing that I've flown before. So this is the start of the transition, and you can see the huge mountain out in front, and that mountain out front, you can see the grey bit on the top, and that's where I want to connect, is just above that tree line. And then it's a huge bowl, and because it's been facing into the sun all morning, you generally just ride around it and it gives you lift all the way around. And the interesting feature is at the very end of it, so the left side as we look at it, if you get up to the top, it's about a 2,200 foot wall, and it just goes straight down. Apparently it's quite a key area for base jumpers. So I've made it across way above the tree line, and you can see the bowl behind me now, and that just like, it looks sort of inconspicuous, just rock, but actually like that channel you can see now in the centre of the picture, it's about 300 foot deep. I was thermaling earlier down below into that, and it's just amazing the size of everything. Everything is just on grand, extra large size. Quite overwhelming at times as well for me.
Don't even question it, and don't show up to my door and ask if I can give more. You know my.
So I probably cheated slightly here. I came out the front and then went round this big drop. I was just cautious of rotor, but actually the other pilots I was flying with, they pretty much figure of eighted all the way up to the top of that cliff face and just fell into the big void. I didn't have the stomach for that. But the views at the moment are absolutely spectacular. You know, you can pretty much see to Mont Blanc, and you can just start seeing the ridge of that big cliff, and it's just crazy. This is where I'm just saying on the radio here, I'm just like, you know, I'm overwhelmed with just how big this is. So I just start scanning around to the right now, so you can see I've just gone over the cliff, and what looks just on end of pod like quite a small hill is a significant mountain. As mentioned, everything is just humongous, and again when you look right down there, that crack or that re-entrant or valley, whatever you want to call it, it looks as if it's just fallen away from this huge mountain that I've just been climbing. Again, you can see down it there, it's something or somewhere I definitely wouldn't want to be on a paraglider. So the idea from here was to actually push straight forward, and you can just see there's a light green area under that cloud. Well, that's another paragliding takeoff site, and that's where we was going to fly to. I was leading the group at this point, and our ground speeds dropped down from what was about 24-25 kilometers going over the rock face to now about sort of 8-12, and then dropping 6-8. So at that point I decided the valley winds were coming in and I wanted to get down. So again, just pushing forward, again not using speed back because it was quite buoyant at this point and it was quite rough. And you can see the valley out front, how it's just all rolling through there, the meteor wind. And then we just I get now right into the centre of the valley, and I'm just waiting really to turn and do my downwind leg, and then it's a right-handed circuit into the landing area. You can't see it on the trees, but they are proper moving now. And again, if you watched the Chamonix video, you would have seen me get dropped in and, you know, quite looking not to get injured. So this is me doing that downwind leg, and you can see the speed I'm picking up. And we can just see a wing on the grass, and that's where you're meant to land. But I'd already made a decision I was going to land further downwind because it was cleaner. And I had probably a good 400 or 500 metres of clean air. Where the landing area is, if anyone's ever been here, there's trees up at the top of it, and with sort of 15 to 20 mile an hour winds, the last thing I wanted to be doing is landing anywhere near trees. So I accepted if anyone wanted to have a moan at me, they could. Difficult to see, but actually there's a tandem which has done exactly the same process, and that's not through bad canopy control, that's purely, I think, from a real sensible, safe point of making that decision.
What I've been praying for.
And yet you can see there, I'm in proper clean air now. The wing's loving it, a little bit of forward speed, but the winds are quite strong as we mentioned. And, you know, pretty much perfect landing. Get the wing down, and I've just flown Samoans, and, you know, being above 7,000 foot above the French Alps. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys.